So a couple of weeks ago, I talked about the fact that Logan Paul had officially filed a lawsuit against Coffeezilla over his docuseries and a couple of other videos he made last year surrounding the CryptoZoo scandal. Specifically, he would be suing for defamation, claiming that Steven lied about him and his business ventures in order to obtain capital gain for himself, to boost his social profile, and to further push what he calls an untrue narrative that he is a dirty, rotten scam artist. To be clear, to win a defamation case, someone does have to prove actual malice, something public figures have found difficult to do time and time again. Keep in mind, this comes after Logan originally claimed that he would be suing Coffeezilla.
And lastly, Coffeezilla, I now know your motives with this. Clout and money, good for you, but also you're slimiest. We're gonna handle this ourselves while we continue to build CryptoZoo, and I'll see you in court.
Obviously, everyone said this made him look like an even bigger douche than before, and so then he would say this.
Coffeezilla is not a criminal. I called him, I apologized. My initial response to his series was that of fire and ego. Thank you, Coffeezilla. You have catalyzed this, and I am very grateful for your work and your investigation, and I mean that. Thank you, bro.
And then he would even say this during a tell-all filming about his life documented by a man named Graham Bessinger.
The pit of despair that I was in over Christmas time was caused by a YouTuber accusing me of scamming.
This journalist, YouTuber, crypto uncoverer guy named Coffeezilla, who's incredible, by the way. A very thorough, good-hearted, smart guy, did a deep dive into this project that I attempted to make called CryptoZoo.
For reference, Graham has been around for a very long time, and he is considered a respected independent journalist. And y'all know Logan couldn't help but beef with this guy. They did this interview after the documentary came out, and Logan claims that Graham pulled the old bait and switch on him. Basically, when he signed up to do this behind the scenes look into his life, Logan claims that he was under the assumption that it would be streamed to a major service like Apple TV or Amazon Prime, and in the end, the only place it went was on Graham's personal YouTube channel.
And I gave you everything I have. I opened up to you. I was vulnerable. I let you into my house on Christmas because I thought the show would go to Apple, but instead you plastered it on your personal YouTube channel.
4 months ago, I told everybody where it was airing and what happened. In 4 months, never was there any issue communicated to us about where it was airing.
You're lying.
Let me finish.
Oh, the sweet irony of Logan being upset for someone not delivering what they promised. Honestly, if what Logan says is true, and this man duped him that much, that is hilarious. Is there a possibility that he tried to shop this piece of content around and no one wanted it? I mean, this shit got less hits than when Adam22 gave away his wife. And during this back and forth, Graham would even expose that Logan wanted any clips discussing or about CryptoZoo to be removed from the documentary.
The only issue that was ever communicated was remove this crypto stuff, remove this CryptoZoo stuff. If CryptoZoo is in there, if Coffeezilla's in there, I'm not going to promote it.
I love the look on his face whenever someone mentions this absolute failure of a project. To me, at the end of the day, Logan laid in bed with some dirty dogs, and now he wants to sweep it all under the rug and silence anyone who has something to say about it. But the only problem is that this dude now has flea bites all over him.
What responsibility do you feel for what happened?
I put way too much trust in bad people to run a project that I really cared about.
And to me, anyone who tries to silence legitimate criticism through unjust copyright, or even worse, a lawsuit like this, is just a massive puss. Like, the sheer idea that this man is now trying to play the poor little victim here is ludicrous. It's like setting your own house on fire, pouring gasoline all over the flames, somehow escaping, and then starting a GoFundMe to help pay for your medical bills when you decide to jump back into the burning house. Either way, Coffeezilla has now responded to this lawsuit in his newest video, and things are getting spicy. And some of you may remember, per the court filing, that Logan is suing this man over tweets, YouTube titles, and thumbnails, citing Twitter and YouTube comments as proof of the damage to his reputation, which apparently lies at the hands of Coffeezilla. I mean, seriously guys, using shitpost comments as proof in actual lawsuit is so 2024 that it hurts my soul.
Yes, you heard me right. Logan Paul sued me after I tried to get his fans, the CryptoZoo investors, a full refund.
Coffee then shares text messages between him and Logan, where Logan straight up acknowledges the victims that he created.
So he agrees people have been wronged by his game. You know, the thing that he said will earn you money.
It's a really fun game that makes you money.
And you guys have to remember that CryptoZoo is something that Logan himself said that he would be thrilled if it turned out to be some of his fans' first step into the worlds of investment.
Right? Like, I just know that I love it.
Yeah.
My developers and my team love it. Who loves it most? The kids. I think that's the most important thing we're doing. Kids are going to care about the blockchain because of my project.
That's incredible.
Yeah. Imagine your first experience on the blockchain is with CryptoZoo. And by the way, dude, I don't fucking know if it's gonna work.
Like, nah, kids, don't open that Roth IRA. Don't start putting some money into a large index fund. My broken crypto game that revolves around shitty photoshopped animals is the future investment vehicle to your generational wealth. Above that, it's apparent just looking at the lawsuit itself that Logan did not know enough about the intricacies of cryptocurrency, the blockchain, and NFTs to properly manage this project. That is his angle, as I understand it, is that he's now trying to paint himself as a victim of his own incompetence.
Everything you just said has an element of truth to it. Here's the problem. What you just described isn't a scam. I took on a project that I was simply incapable of handling at the time. By the time this comes out, it'll be done. The game's gonna be made. You're gonna have the opportunity to get your money back if you want, if you don't want to play the game.
And guess what? The documentary came out and no game. I can see why he wanted all of this out of the documentary, because it makes him look like an even bigger liar who will say and do anything to try and get on the right side of the general public.
Do you think he'll take accountability for not launching CryptoZoo? No. This time, he blames the government. He says releasing CryptoZoo has too many regulatory hurdles. Maybe they should have thought of that before multi-millions of dollars of zoo tokens and eggs were sold.
These internet journalists, internet investigative reporters have way too much responsibility on their hands that is being mismanaged.
Has this man ever looked in the mirror once and actually thought a critical thought about himself? You know, laid in bed at night and just really taken accountability for his mistakes? I mean, at this point to me, it's like, what is real? He lies about being sorry.
And I am very grateful for your work and your investigation.
And now he can't even keep his story straight when it comes to righting his wrongs.
I didn't make any money, bro. I've lost $500,000 on this. Where's the scam?
So this lawsuit from beginning to end is groundless, meritless, frivolous, and Logan knows that because behind the scenes, in clips he didn't want to get out, he's saying I'm thorough and good-hearted. But in public, he wants to sue me, silence me, and cost me money, because that's the one department where we both know he's got me beat.
Now, Coffee gets completely transparent here in admitting that the media insurance he had been paying for is not going to be covering this lawsuit, and that he'll be having to handle this legal matter out of his own pocket. Remember that Logan is suing him in excess of $70,000 in damages, and of course we all know that Logan will have very good lawyers which he can easily afford, and Coffee will have to foot his own legal bills, which can quickly jump up into hundreds of thousands of dollars. He did release some merch to help cover the cost, which I did go purchase, and I encourage you to go help him if you can as well. Now here's where things get extremely spicy, as Coffee has been once again digging around and had found some information regarding a crypto project called Liquid Marketplace. He had apparently previewed this investigation on his channel only 6 days before the lawsuit was filed, and only 24 hours before he would be served papers, he had reached out to Logan for a comment on the Liquid Marketplace.
Logan's lawyers then threatened me in that lawsuit email that if I report on this new story, Logan might hold me accountable. Of course, I don't believe that's the only reason I was sued. Clearly, Logan wanted to sue me for a while, but I believe this new investigation played a role in pulling the trigger.
Liquid Marketplace was advertised as a private company that allows users to buy, sell, and trade partial ownership of rare and expensive collectibles. The platform uses blockchain and crypto technology to tokenize collectibles, trading cards, and other items. So it sounds like this was all right up the crypto/NFT bros alley, and as a matter of fact, Logan even apparently co-founded the platform.
On a platform that I co-founded called Liquid Marketplace, it allows co-ownership of top-tier assets. So instead of one person, me owning this card, we as a collective can co-own it together.
Basically, the idea behind this platform is a lot like taking an asset and dividing it into shares, almost like a stock on the stock market. Like, for example, let's say that I say this glass of water is worth $100. Well, the idea was that the liquid marketplace would then go divide that into like 1,000 shares, and then turn around and sell these partial shares to different investors. So if I go and buy 800 of the shares and my boy buys the other 200 shares, well, I now own 80%, he owns 20%, and then when you eventually cash out or the item is auctioned off, you hope that the value goes up so you see some return on your investment. Now basically, Coffee started hearing sketchy things from people who allegedly bought into this shared asset concept, and he wanted to investigate it. I can only imagine that this really made Logan mad. I'm sure he felt like he was finally getting out of the weeds with the CryptoZoo buyback program being completed and the public outrage around his name calming down. And to me, this lawsuit now makes a lot more sense. Before, I really questioned why Logan would want to stoke this dying fire. But now, in my opinion, it appears that he was out to make sure that more things from this crypto boner era wouldn't come to light. And I want to make it clear as day that I'm not saying that Logan Paul is a scammer. I'm just saying I think he's one shady ass dude who fails to do his homework. Now, the liquid marketplace has apparently been under investigation in Canada. To be clear, Logan is not listed in the filing, but he did claim to have co-founded this company, and he was the one promoting it on his platform to millions of people during this whole Pokemon card era. The three people mentioned here are Ryan Bahadori, Amin Nickdell, and Dennis Domazet. These three men are claimed to be the minds behind the Liquid Marketplace project. The Liquid Marketplace business promotes and sells crypto assets that purportedly represent fractional ownership of valuable collectibles, known as LMP tokens. The collectibles include trading cards and digital assets such as non-fundable tokens, which are purportedly fractionalized into LMP tokens. These LMP tokens are offered to investors through an online platform accessible through LMP's website. LMP and its principals have perpetuated a fraud on investors in two ways. First, the respondents raised over $10 million by selling common shares and promissory notes in LMP to investors located primarily in Canada and the US. From these funds, the respondents misappropriated approximately $3 million, including through hidden payments to shell companies for the personal enrichment of the LMP principals, i.e. these three guys. Bahadori and Nickdell made false and misleading statements to token purchasers, including that LMP tokens represent legal ownership in underlying collectibles, and the collectibles themselves have been authenticated, appraised, and insured. Finally, the LMP principals also made misleading and untrue statements to the Ontario Securities Commission during the Commission's investigation into LMP. The LMP principals misled the Commission by hiding the true nature and total amounts of money they had misappropriated for their personal enrichment. Basically, they're saying that the liquid marketplace made it seem like these were going to be good investments, that were going to help people who bought in battle inflation, and that they had good long-term growth potential. LMP has also purported to list collectibles on initial drop at cheap or discounted prices, further creating an expectation of profits for token purchasers, whether through LMP token trades on the marketplace or sale votes to sell or auction their collectibles for their purportedly higher market value. Basically, it sounds to me like these guys were taking not only money collected from the sales on their website, but money from legitimate investors and using it to fund their personal lifestyles, including high-end clothing, jewelry, and other luxurious services, using bonuses and expenses to write off these loans that were really just stolen money. Allegedly, that is. The suit goes on to say that the guys behind Liquid Marketplace defrauded customers of their website by misrepresenting the fundamental characteristics and risks of the LMP tokens. Basically, when they said that these LMP tokens represented legal ownership and they would be recorded on the blockchain, they were completely full of shit. Contrary to these representations, as described in greater detail below, LMP tokens do not represent legal ownership of underlying collectibles. Purported token purchaser ownership is not recorded on any blockchain, and LMP moved collectibles to the marketplace that had failed to sell out on the initial drop. Not only that, but LMP does not authenticate, appraise, or insure the collectibles. These false and misleading representations exposed token purchasers to undisclosed risk, caused investor losses, and benefited LMP and its associates. So it sounds to me like this was yet another project that was both half-baked and lazily thrown together. They allegedly weren't authenticating these collectibles featured on their website, they didn't have documentation of ownership in many cases, and instead of giving people their money back when the item didn't completely sell all of its shares like they said they would, They allegedly still kept these people and their money on the hook, seemingly so they could use it to fund their own lifestyles. LMP failed to mint or create tokens for many of the collectibles, and no purported token purchase or ownership has been recorded on any blockchain. Rather, LMP tracks LMP token sales and trades through an off-chain ledger system, and basically they had no structure in place to protect the people who were buying these collectibles. So we'll see where this all goes. I did want to make it clear that in this filing, Logan Paul's name is not mentioned once, and I really have no reason to believe that he profited off this venture. But his name and advertising being attached to yet another shady crypto NFT project, of course is going to raise some eyebrows. And if they were indeed committing fraud, well, Logan once again looks like either a clueless fool or just a flat-out demented person who wants to scam people in his audience. Now honestly, the truth probably lies somewhere in between. I do think that Logan got way in over his head when it came to all this crypto stuff. I mean, I'm not surprised at all that someone with an ego as big as him would have the goal to believe that they could manage a project like this when it really takes years to truly understand like what it all means. Either way, I want to know what you guys think about this down below. I also encourage you to go support Coffeezilla. But either way, as you guys know, it's been your boy the Tan Superman, and some other lawsuits out here need to be covered, so I'm out. Peace!